What's up, my loves and fellow creatives? Hey, YouTube, I miss y'all. And I think we have some folks over on Facebook as well. I decided to come back and do a little live. I don't know if I'm going to come back and do lives again weekly like I was doing before, but I do at least want to connect and see what y'all are up to, what you've been working on, and if I can help you out. So, we are getting ready, of course, for back to school season. And with back to school also comes back to sports. Okay. So, what I want to do is I want to take you through this simple template, but I'm going to run you into some issues just like you would run into with your customers or your clients. Because let's just face it, you're probably going to get some subpar graphics and logos, and you're probably going to have to tweak this and make that look great. But I just want you to know that there is hope, and you all can produce really stunning level graphics with very little ease as long as you know the ropes. Okay. So, what I want to do with this one, I'm going to flip this design, but like I said, I'm going to have some little issues along the way. And then not only will I flip the design, I'll also go ahead and mock these up into pretty much like a price sheet. But the price sheet does more than just price what you're going to offer the customer. It actually helps you to, here, I'll bring it up. I'll show you better than I can tell you. It helps you to identify what a one color print looks like versus full color and that sort of thing. So we're going to go ahead and show you how I use AI to create some of these graphics, how I will use AI to clean up the graphics. I'll show you a little bit of that today too. We're going to use a vectorizer online, an AI vectorizer that will help us do something to these graphics that they give us, y'all. And then if we get time, if we get to it, then I'll also show you how I implement these on the mockup here and just create a visual that helps the client understand what it is that they're getting from me and what my minimums are. And then that way I'm confident in my pricing and I'm not just making things up off the top of my head. If you are interested in the full play that we just did, this is a challenge for this whole week for 4 days. Then I will have a special offer for that at the end. If y'all remind me, then you can get that replay as well as join us for the next 30 days so that you can get into the next challenge live when we do those 4 days. And then also we do weekly classes, y'all. Weekly Photoshop classes, weekly AI classes. I'm going to give you a little bit of a taste of that tonight, but I cannot go through our whole week's worth of class in this 1 hour session. So I'm going to do my best to go over the top line points so I can show you all, even for the free 99, that there is ample knowledge in what you could be putting into place right now. Like, you don't have to be an expert. You don't have to be doing this for 20 plus years like me. You just need to have the tools and the confidence to go ahead and get this thing kicked into gear. All right, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into some work. So I'm actually going to challenge myself. The logo that I'm going to work on first, because I need to change this graphic design out to another school. Let me go find my graphic, y'all. And I'm going to do real schools that are in my real area. I encourage you to do the exact same thing. So let's go with this is a theme that I did for another project. I'm just going to pull it over so you all can see. I am going to go with this logo now. I'll show you what's going to happen as we go. Now, this logo is kind of cleaned up here. It's not vector, but I can absolutely use it for what I need to use it for here. All right, so the first thing that I'm going to do is, if you can, go ahead and vector the graphic first. I'm going to give you all a website that uses AI to vectorize. I'll pull it up on the screen over here. And I'll also go ahead and put it into the chat, y'all. Hey, Treva. Georgia Beauty, what's good? Hey, Mo. Angelica, what it do? Selena, Crystal, Shawanda, I'm just not seeing all the comments, y'all. Sharon, hey, my love. Frederica, hey, hey. I see y'all. Jeannie, what's good? Okay, I see y'all coming to connect with me on a Friday. All right, I'll put that link in the chat for y'all. That way, if you want to play with vectorizing, you can. I believe you could do like 1 or 2 vector images for free. Other than that, you will have to subscribe, but I believe it's $10 for the whole month. And it's not month to month. Like it's not a recurring fee. You just pay month to month if you use it. All right. So when you pay for it, you get a month's access basically. All right. So let me go right here where it says upload images, or I can just drag and drop my image right here. So I'm going to drag it from my folder. Where'd it go? Drag and drop it right here. All right, now, if you don't understand what vectoring is just taking an image and making it to where it is mathematical shapes and lines. That's it. That's all vectoring is. So there's no such thing as blowing a vector up and seeing pixels, okay? A bitmap image is made up of pixels. It's made up of little dots. So when you blow it up, if it doesn't have enough quality, enough dot quality, it will indeed look grainy when you blow it up. Okay, so the point of vectoring this stuff is to make sure that we have a high quality graphic that can go from a tiny little 1-inch design all the way up to billboard side if need be. And when that happens, it absolutely does not degrade in quality, which is a beautiful thing about vectors. Okay, they're high quality no matter what size they are, and they are always predictable. You know how sometimes our photos aren't really predictable. We don't know what it's going to look like when it blows up. Vectors are always predictable. So if you can get something in a vector format, especially a logo, get it in vector format so you can use it for anything in the future. Now, some logos can't be vectored technically because they have too many gradients and too many colors. And we'll talk about that at a later time. Okay. But right here, right now, I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see this image was not that bad. It was not that grainy, but do you see how this AI cleaned up and smoothed out my lines? It kissed all of my layers so that I don't have little gaps in my colors. However, this particular design is saying that optimized, it is 6 colors. Okay. If you know anything about screen printing, which we're going to talk a little bit about screen printing. We talked about it during the challenge this week in depth. We spent at least 8 hours together this week. So that whole 8-hour replay is available. But I'm going to give you the skinny right now. Screen printing costs per color. So if I have 6 colors, it costs significantly more than 1 color, 2 color, and even 3 color. Okay. Now, when you get into doing more than 3 colors, more than likely you're going to do a full color process. That means that even if it is screen print, you're going to do what's called a CMYK process color. That means they're going to use cyan, magenta, black, and yellow to simulate. It's called a simulated process color. It's going to simulate full color. Okay. But it's still going to be a screen print. All right, so what we're going to do here is, I think the only thing that I'm going to do, because I want this at highest resolution, I'm going to combine this gray. So this is how I break down my colors. And I didn't show this in the challenge. So those are my triple OGs and my newbies that are part of the Platinum Craft to Quit. Y'all pay attention to this one. I didn't show y'all this part. I'm going to click on this lighter color gray here. And I can choose what gray I turn that into or what color I turn it into. So I can click on that lighter color gray and I can make it the same color white, which y'all already know that pure white is 6Fs. That's called a hex code. So I'm going to copy it. So I can take that lighter gray, which is really in his beard, and I can come here, paste that hex code and hit apply. And see, now it turned it all white. Now this breaks it down to a 5 color instead of a 6 color. And I also have to change the outline, hit apply. Okay. So instantly that made this less colors. If I were to basically screen print this or break this down, now that's 1 less color that I have to worry about. For the sake of this initial project, I'm going to go ahead and just keep I'm going to revert it and keep it with the lighter gray. and just make sure that I have it checked off, because if you uncheck it, it will remove that color. If I select a new color, it will replace that color. All right, so here, let me hide that out of my way. And let me just refresh here, because I may just turn it off and then let's turn it back on. And it has deleted my color. All right, there it goes. It brought it back. All right, so now I have 6 colors. I'm going to go with that because I'm doing sublimation right now. So I'm going to do sublimation first. And instead of me breaking it down for each like I did in class, I broke it down from, and I'll show you better than I can tell you. Let me go ahead and pull it up here. Come on over on this screen, baby. All right, so, and I gave you all this as a bonus. If you're in the challenge, I gave you all versions of this design. So you have your sublimation design. I want you to notice how it has drop shadows. It has a full color logo, so you don't have to simplify the logo. I just suggest that you vector it, because you're always going to come out with a cleaner design if you vector it. And most of the time, they're going to give you trash logos, okay? If y'all ever gotten trash logos, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So this will help you out. My backup to this is if this program doesn't work out for me or it's taking too much time, I'm playing with it too much, what I do is I make sure that I schedule a day or two to send it off to Fiverr and let somebody on Fiverr vector it and tussle with it, because I'm not willing to tussle with this. If I can pay $5 or $10 tops to have someone else vectorize it, then that's what I will do. All right. This one, you're paying $10 for the whole month of vectorizing. All right, now this one is a DTF design, and I'm just going to make it a little bit bigger so you can see here. And just explain the difference in these designs. So with the DTF design, notice I don't have any drop shadows. I don't have any gradients. See here, I have gradients. Those are very hard to print via DTF. You end up with all of that white halo effect in that little nasty little white that ends up under your drop shadows and stuff. So see how I have drop shadows here? DTF does not like that. So what we do is we remove those parts so that it can become a full color DTF print. If you don't know what DTF means, it means direct to film. It's basically, instead of printing directly onto the garment, they're printing on a film material that you can later transfer to the garment or to the substrate, because it may not be a garment. All right, so notice here, I do have some solid colors, but DTF does allow me to print full color. It just needs clean outlines or contours. Sublimation, don't care about that. You can have unclean contours, you can have splashes, you can have transparency in your drop shadows, all of that. Sublimation is something special. Okay, DTF is special too, but it has some guidelines. It has some places that you can't go like you can go with sublimation. So the whole point of this project this week was to break those things down so you have not just the understanding, but the confidence to offer these products. Okay, all right, so next after that, I have a 3-color screen print. Now, the reason why I say this is 3-color, because it's black, it's white, and it is blue. That means I can put it on black, white, gray, blue, pink, whatever, and it's going to be these 3 colors. All right. And then finally, we get down to a 2-color and a 1-color. And I'll do a little bit of pricing talk when we get to that point. I'm just letting you know, when I'm designing, check out the logos. The logo now, it doesn't have that gray inside of the football. It doesn't have that gray on the handle anymore, because it's a 3-color design. I can't afford to put gray in there. I have to remove the gray and replace it with one of my 3 colors, right? So like I said, I gave y'all all of these. I already uploaded them. Look, last night I went ahead and uploaded them for you. So they are there. If you were part of the challenge, they are there. They're in a little zip file, all of these together. All right, so here, notice that the logo now only has 2 colors. Okay, now technically this is a 1-color screen print. When I remove the blue from this, this is a 2-color screen print. I'll explain that in a little bit. When I remove the blue from this, it is a one color screen print that is black. Notice that the logo for the black screen print looks different than the logo for the white screen print because I have to take the negative of that image and make it look positive. That's one of my tricks to doing white screen prints with mascots or faces. All right, so I went into that a lot more in depth this week. I just wanted to make sure I was touching on that to get you all reminded of why this course was important, why this is going to help you feel more confident in offering these services to your customers. All right, so back to why I was saying the vector this. If you vector it, it is so much easier to remove colors, okay? So I have created this little vector here. I'm going to go ahead and download it. It has the full 6 colors. I'm going to let it have the 6 colors. I'm doing sublimation, baby. I can do all the colors in the world I want, okay? So what I'm going to do is make sure that I choose SVG as my file type here. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and download this as my Vikings logo vector. And then I'm going to put how many colors it is, 6 colors. And then I'm going to save that. All right, now I will go ahead and start building this design. This will take me literally probably, I'll say 3 minutes, maybe even 2. Let's see. Let's double click on the logo. And let's change that out. I come over here to my downloads. I should have put it in a little folder and had it ready. And check this out. You can bring SVG straight into Photoshop. Boom, just like that. All right, so I'm going to take all of this, group it, and then turn that off so I can just see my primary logo here. Everything looks good for sublimation, y'all. I don't have to clean this up or do anything in it. I'm going to do Control S to save, Control W to close it out. Boom, I'm right there. I'm going to grab the color picker tool here and I'm going to zoom in just a little bit. Grab that red color, grab that gray color. Check my swatches out over here. There they are. Double click on color number 1. Like I said, it should take you 3 minutes if you're not talking like I am. Double click on color number 1. I'm going to duplicate that layer. Hit OK. Tap on that red color. Turn off the previous color. Control S to save. Control W to close out my window. And I'm showing you how quick this workflow can really go. Duplicate the layer. Go ahead and tap on my new gray. Turn off the previous layer. Control S, Control W. Command S, Command W if you're on a Mac. My design is almost done. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here is change out the word bucks. So where my mascot is, and you can scroll all the way to the top. I have the mascot up there. And let me go ahead and do a file save as because I'm doing all this juicy work and I'm not saving it. The reason why I do a save as because I don't want to mess over my blue bucks. I want this to be my red Vikings. And this is my full color sublimation version. All right, so cool. I'm going to say OK here. Double click on the word bucks because it's a smart object. This is going to be so much easier to do this in Photoshop versus Canva, just to let you know. I'm going to go ahead and bring up my word Vikings here. And if you're in class, you'll see how I showed you how to break these words up and resize them and everything. All right, and I just want to do a little check here to make sure that everything is flowing how I want. Just a little bonus for those of you who were in class. There is a straight version of this where we go straight instead of the curve here. So let me turn the curve version off so you can see what I'm talking about. So I have a warp version and a straight version. So let's say with this one, I'm going to do the Vikings with the straight version. That way you can see the difference. Now it's up to you if you need to do any adjustments here. For instance, if I need to move that up just a little bit here, I'm going to be on my move tool and just inch that up just a little bit there. Boom, boom. All right, and then also it looks like I need to get a little more coverage with my graphic here because I'm going to keep, this is my little AI artwork here. And it has a little skull in the water, if you can see that. Let me undo that. Turn off auto select, y'all. And that little waves design. Can you see the little skull in the face? Right there, that little skull face right there in the water. I move it over depending on where I want it to be visible in the graphic there. So I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. So I cover the text, but I still see that little skull in the water. And I'll show you in AI how we created that. All right, so for this one, I want to do, if I'm going to color the water red, or maybe I'll color the water gray here. Let's see. Do I want it red? Or do I want it gray? And if I do want it gray, I have to change my blend mode to color and then change those levels up a little bit so that I can get a lighter version of it. That looks pretty cool. I still have my red here. And then of course I have to change the name of the school. So I'm just going to right click on the meat of the text where it says First Coast. Double click on the T for First Coast. And I'll put in the new school name. Now check this out. This name is shorter. So what I do, instead of trying to make the text stretched out, I'll come over here to my, I believe this is tracking. If I hover over it, it should say, yes, this is my tracking. I'm going to hover over the tracking and I'm going to increase it a little bit. It was 80 and now I'm going to increase it to 140. I have to click on it first. You see how it's stretching, not stretching, but it's creating space between the letters. So now I can say Rains, Vikings, football. And then I did tell you all in class also, you may need to check on your, I'm going to delete the layer mask here for my right text and check on the left text first. And then as I'm selecting on here, what I'm doing is I'm just inching it over to see, do I need to clear a little bit more of that text? And this is just me being a little precise, y'all, but it does matter. I want to get that little edge of the white outline here for my eye. And once I have that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to close all of these little cabinet doors up. And I'm going to take my left text layer mask, Alt, click and drag it to my right. And then, oh no, it just disappeared. Well, if I do Control I or Command I, it inverts that mask. So now it becomes half and half, precisely with the adjustment that I just did with the first half. Now this looks good to me. I'm ready to go. I can go ahead and take this right now, right click on it, quick export as PNG. And now I'm going to save this as my, I'll save this as my Red Vikings Sublimation. And let me just make a little folder for that. So this is my 323 Red Vikings. So I may have a sublimation version. I'll tell you what, I'll go ahead and make these different versions. Now let me go ahead and save this. In order to save it as a DTF version, let me show you quickly how you would convert this. Because what you don't want to do, you don't want to go, if you knew you were doing DTF, then I would have started this process on the DTF file. If I knew I was doing a one color design, I would have started this process on the one color design. But because I started it with sublimation, let's say that we're going to do some item sublimation, right? Let's say we're going to do some long sleeve, dry fit warm-up shirts for the whole football team. They're going to love those and they sublimate beautifully. Even if I do a light gray, they sublimate beautifully. But let's say they also want to do some duffel bags, and those duffel bags are probably going to need either DTF or screen print, right? So let's go ahead and prepare this. So I could take this one, I'm going to save it as is, and then I'm going to do a save as, because after I do my sublimation one, I don't want to mess it up anymore. So now I'm going to do full color, and then I'm going to call this one DTF. So full color DTF with the Reigns Red Vikings. Now what I do in order to get it ready for DTF, I'm going to look for all of these fun little fades. So I'm going to get rid of that gradient fade. See how now it's hard lines? Get rid of this gradient fade. I have another gradient fade here. And I've already gotten rid of this for the file for you all. And get rid of that one. And also I have to get rid of the drop shadow. The drop shadow makes it look really nice for sublimation, but it is too much for DTF unless you're doing a hard, clean drop shadow. Now I can show you how to do a hard, clean drop shadow. If you go into drop shadow, I'm going to duplicate this one. So I have the soft one and the harsher one. So in order to get a harsh drop shadow, you're going to have to increase that opacity all the way up. You're going to have to make sure that, see, when I bring the size up, it fades off more. You need a tight size and you need a bigger spread. And see how all of a sudden it starts to look a little more solid? And then you can change the distance if you need to get a little more of that effect. So now I have this looking like a solid drop shadow, and it doesn't have to be exactly perfect, but the more solid this looks, the better DTF is going to perform. Okay. So now that looks pretty darn solid. So I can get away with this. As a matter of fact, I would rather do this if I like the drop shadow effect. I would rather do that than have it look completely flat if I'm doing DTF, to be honest with you, because the way my stuff is layered, it looks good when it has that drop shadow. So if you just remember 2784.7, then I can go into, let me go into the red Viking here. And see, there's a drop shadow here. And like I said, what I would do, I would keep my original drop shadow, turn off the original. And y'all, I don't remember those numbers. Maybe y'all do. I'm just going to play with it till I get it to where I want it. And then bring my opacity all the way up. And also, just because the drop shadow looked good on this one doesn't mean it's going to look good on the longer or bigger text, because the effects are going to be amplified. And that's just something you'll learn by playing with stuff by eye. And bring that size down because I want it to be a little harsher. There we go. And then I can turn the drop shadow off, turn it back on, and see if I like it. The reason why I like it is because I can put this full color thing on white, black, gray. I could put it on purple if I want to. And because I have all of the drop shadows with the white outline, it looks good on anything. That's one of my tricks. If you do a white and a black outline, you can pretty much put it on any color. However, if I only did a white outline, that white would melt into white on a white shirt, of course. So you just have to be aware of those things. I don't think I like that. Now, once I get one that I like here, I'm going to copy that layer style. And I'm going to open up my right text and paste the layer style here. All right, and see, and now it gives me the same cohesive effect all the way through. I will do the same thing with the center text here, that solid text in the middle. I'm going to go here to where it says solid text and paste the layer style. All right, and everything else is the same for me. This looks like it's good and intertwined. Instead of doing the curve this time like I did for the Bucks, this time I'm doing the straight Vikings instead of the curve, so you all will get to see the difference in that. And this looks good to me. Now, if I'm going to put this on several different colors and I'm not certain, you can actually come down here to the bottom and say, hey, what does this look like on black? That actually looks really good on black. And most of the time, DTF is going on black. That's why you're making DTF. Let's be real, because these folks tell you they don't want no white shirts. But this can absolutely look really, really great on black. And then what I want you to do too, double check here. I got rid of my little gradient glows and stuff, but make sure you don't have any kind of soft lines here that would confuse your DTF. But this looks good. I'm going to preview it on gray. See how my gray down here can get a little lost, but it's still fine. And then instead of the blue here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, well, what does this look like if I put it on a red shirt? Does anything get lost? And for this one, if I do happen to put this on a red shirt, then this little rectangle here gets lost. If I wanted to, if I knew I was putting this on red, I could choose a different color here. maybe I choose the black. But then when you put it on a black shirt, the black disappears. So you have to know what color you're designing on. But that is the beautiful part of doing this preview process, is you can get an idea before you get stuck how you want your design process to go. Now, I know that if I'm doing DTF, I'm probably not printing on white. Let's just be real. So if that's the case, if I wanted this part to be white instead, I would just make sure that I change my text. And instead of my text being blue, maybe my text is red. That looks really good on red. Let me see what it looks like on white. This is why I tested, y'all. We didn't do this part in class. I told you we're probably not printing on white, but if we did print it on white, it would just look like the words are up there, which is perfectly fine. If we print it on black, that baby is going to look good. And if I print it on gray, it's still going to look good. Okay, so I like the white with the red text. So I'm going to go ahead and work that out. My rectangle, turn it white, turn off the gray. And then for the text, I'm going to go into the text and make that red. Turn off the white, turn on the red, and there we have it. So this is going to be my design. I had a sublimation design because I knew that was going on white. Now this is going to be my DTF design. Again, I changed the file name to DTF, so let me go ahead and save it as is. And then in the meantime, I'm going to right click and quick export as PNG. And instead of sublimation, I'm going to turn this one to DTF. And then you'll get to see how these things look side by side. Cool, cool. So I got a DTF. Now, everything past this requires me to be very aware of colors. So what I'm going to do is turn this now into a screen print design. So let's say, for instance, with my color, my accent here, I'm going to go into it. And I'm going to drag this logo on top right now, turning everything else off. Now, this, remember, was a 6-color design. And it didn't matter because I'm doing DTF and sublimation. I can do as many colors as I want. Now that I'm getting ready to reduce this, I have to at least break it down. I'm not even going to do a 3-color design, to be honest with you. A 3-color design costs about the same amount as a full screen print when you are doing the plastisol transfers. So I'm going to skip the 3-color and just go for a 2-color and a 1-color. So let's go ahead. I'm going to duplicate this one so I can leave it as is. Keep everything in place. Now I'm just going to play with this inside of Photoshop. Technically, this is vector. I can double click this right now and it will open up in Illustrator. But y'all, I'm not teaching Illustrator tonight. I'm going to teach y'all how to just do this right on up here in Photoshop. All right, so where it has the gray here, if I am only doing a 2-color, y'all, I just want you to think about literally the color of the shirt, black and white. That's pretty much what you're going to be dealing with. So let's go back for a second. For this design, I see that I have gray, I have red, I have white, I have black, and I also have the skin tone here. What I'm going to do is turn basically everything into white or black. Okay, so I'm going to take the inside here, and I'm going to take off contiguous, turn that off. See how contiguous just selects only what you tapped on. If I select the gray again and I turn off contiguous, it selects that same color gray everywhere. Now, it actually got this lighter color gray because my tolerance is at 32. If I wanted the light gray to be of a different color than the darker gray, I would change my tolerance to about maybe a 12. Let's deselect now, doing Control D. And then I'm going to select the darker gray now. And it still kind of feels like that lighter gray is in there. Let me change the tolerance a little bit lower. Let's try 6. And let's click on the hair here. See, now that my tolerance is lower, it feels like the gray in the beard is different than the gray on the outside. Honestly, I'm going to end up painting all this stuff white anyway. So I'm going to do Control D. I'm going to let my tolerance be 21. That's usually my little magic number. And then I'm only on this top layer here. And I'm going to select all the gray and the white. And I'm even going to select inside his helmet there. And I have to make sure that this addition selection is on. I didn't have that on. If the addition selection is on, then it will add to the selection. Let me deselect here. Oh no, I'm not going to get the red just yet, because the red you see is the outline here, and I want that red to actually be black. All right, so I got my gray here. I'm just going to do a solid color. And watch me cheat, y'all. I'm going to just turn it all white for right now. Okay, this is to help me visualize what's supposed to be black, what's supposed to be white. Now I can grab his skin tone here, and that skin tone adds a whole nother color. All right, I want this to be white as well. So I'm just going to do solid color and white. All right, go back down here wherever his beard is. All of those gray hairs, I want that to be white. And then finally, wherever the red is, I want that red to be black. So I'm going to go into solid color. It really looks good in gray, but I want it to be black. I'm probably going to have to choose the existing black there. There we go. Because that existing black was not all the way black. All right, now this makes it something that I can print with two colors, right? Here's the trick, though. If you know you're going to print on a blue shirt or a red shirt, you technically can get the third color by doing what's called a knockout. So for instance, I'm looking at this design. Well, I'm not looking at it right now. Let me pull it here. So I'm looking at this design, and if I know I'm going to print this on a red shirt, then what I would do is areas that I want it to be red, I would leave that open and punch through the design. Now, because I don't want to overcomplicate that by telling you that process, then what you'll do is you'll only look to put it on red shirts. So I'm going to show it to you black and white, and then that way you at least at minimum know what that looks like. So let's go ahead and just save what we're working on here. Right, and you see the logo in black and white here, and it just looks like it could use a little more color into it. So what I like to do is on this visual layer here and say, hey, where do I really want to see this red? And I might pick, I'm going to turn contiguous back on now because I want the things that are touching. And I might choose the inside of the speed. That wasn't where the red was before, but I feel like this will be a good place for red to be. All right, so I have that color, and maybe I'll make that top of that head red too. And what I'll do, solid color. It looks really good in the gray. But again, like I said, we're doing screen printed, so this is going to be white and black. That's it. And then I will just tap on the red color here, see what that looks like in red. And maybe I'll remove the hat now. So I kind of don't like that in the red. And I'm not deleting anything. I'm just removing color from my layer mask. All right, then that way, if this shirt is on red, it looks good. If this shirt is on black, still looks good. And let's go ahead, and we cannot, I know it's going to be sad to see our little clipping image go, but we're going to have to turn off the clipping image here. And actually, I'm just going to leave it on, but I'm going to change its color. Instead of color blend mode, I'm going to change it to normal so that it fills it in. But it needs to be on a color that we're actually going to print. So here's where you decide, hey, do I want black? Do I want white? And I think I'm going to go with white, because more than likely, if they wanted a white shirt, I would go with Sublimation. So I'm always thinking they want dark colored shirts. So now let me test this print on black. Let me test it on gray. And then on white, if it had to go on white. which, like I said, most times it's not going to go in white. Now, the problem here is this is a 3-color design. Okay. So if I were to save this right now, I would actually go File, Save As, and I would save this as a 3-color design. So technically I said I wasn't going to do a 3-color, but this is screen print. And this is a 3-color. Save that one. Then I'll come up here, quick export as PNG, and then do this as screen print 3-color. Sherry, is this your old high school? Well, all right. What's up, T-shirt side hustle stand? What's good with you? Good to see you on the live. Yeah, I haven't done a live in about 3 months now, so I decided to come back and do a little something. All right, so now what I want to do is I do want to break this down to a 2-color design. However, what we can do here is just do black and white, because more than likely they're when people do spirit shirts, they want to do the primary color of the school. So let's go ahead and assume that we're going to do a red shirt. Okay, that's going to be typical. Now what I could do is I can do something called knockout. Okay, I can knock out the red from my design. If I know that I'm printing this on red, that's the perfect thing to do. So what I do there, instead of trying to manipulate all my different layers, I just do File, Place Embedded. Find that good old, where's my 323 red? There we go. So I'm going to find that good old 3-color. And I just knock out the red from the 3-color and I have a 2-color. But that's when I know I'm printing it on red. I want y'all to understand that that's a difference, because otherwise, and I'll show you what it looks like printed otherwise. So I have this, and then what I'll do is I'll select all my red. Again, I'm going to hit take off contiguous, because I don't want contiguous. I want everywhere that you see red on this graphic here. Tap on the red, and I don't delete anything, y'all. I don't want it to be destructive. So what I do is just hit the layer mask. Well, wait a minute, Shannon, you got everything but red. Okay, that's because I can just invert the layer mask by doing Control-I, getting the reverse of that. Check this out. It's a 2-color design now. Boom. Red is the shirt color. And that's how you get away with doing a 2-color design. If you know you're going to do a red shirt, and then, hey, if they do it on a gray shirt, cool. It's just not going to have red in it. They're not paying for that 3rd color. That 3rd color is expensive. If they're going to do all that, more than likely, you're going to end up doing a full color plastisol screen print, or you're going to do a DTF print, or you're ending up doing sublimation anyhow. Okay. So you see that it is not going to take well on white, because it is a lot of white in the design out here. It will still do excellent on black. You just won't have the red in it. It will look great in gray. You just will not have the red in it. But when you're printing on a red shirt, it will give you that red as a knockout color. Okay. So I just wanted to break that down for you, because now we're going to get into the pricing of this stuff. So now I can take this one right here and just do a quick export as PNG. I can say this one is my 2-color, and I didn't even have to change my graphic. All I had to do was knock out the red. All I need to do is change the number 3 to 2, and we are good to go. All right, so now I'm going to close out of the graphic here, and we're going to get into, yes, the actual mock-up, the printing, the explanation of why this costs what it costs. And then I'll share a couple of vendors with you all, but we're getting close to closeout time. So remind me that I will give you the replay. Well, I'm going to give it to you. I'll sell it to you. If you missed this week-long class that we did, my OG, triple OGs, and my Craft to Quit crew, can you tell me if you learned something this week? Did we learn a little something this week? Isn't it every single week we're learning something new? But this particular challenge, I really wanted to get into the screen printing aspect, so that you don't feel like you don't have the confidence to pull together a screen print design. Okay. I want to make sure that you all have this confidence to go out there. So this is what this little resource right here is for. So let's go ahead and make this for what we want it to be. Oh, you know what? I need to do a 1-color version. Let me open real quick. I'll open that 3-color again. You all are welcome. I love doing this with y'all. All right, so I do need to make a 1-color version of this. 1-color version, it's going to get a lot more simpler, okay? So what I'll do for this, let me do a save as, because I don't want to mess up my 3 and my 2 color here. So I'm going to call this a 1-color. Now, technically, you can, try to bring this into a vector program and just automatically make it 1 color. It doesn't quite work like that. Your eyeballs see all of these different layers and dimensions. So normally, if you're going to make it a 1-color design, you're going to have to take away some of the effects. You're going to have to simplify the design. You may even have to, I showed you all in class how to reverse this logo to do it in white. And it takes practice to even see how to do that. The easiest thing that I do, let me go ahead and turn that off. And we'll still pretend like we're printing this on a red shirt, because more than likely that's what they want. They want the primary team color as the main color of the shirt. All right, so then what we'll do is we'll say, well, we can still do knockout. We can still let this red, poke through. So I'm going to leave the red there, but I'm going to have to choose white or black. I'm not going to be able to do both. Okay, so in that regard, I'm going to actually have to go into my artwork here. And let's go to, for instance, I'm going to do the straight text here. And I do have all of these strokes going on here. And I actually like how the white, then the black, then the white again. However, like I said, this is 1 color. So is there going to be black in there? No. I would actually have to change my stroke color if I want to keep that. I'm going to have to change my stroke color to the color of the garment so that it kind of knocks that out. So now everywhere I see black, I am putting the red. White, I will leave white unless I want to turn it red. So now we see how that's turning more. It looks a little more flat. Other thing is that drop shadow, y'all. That drop shadow ain't going to be a drop shadow no more. I have a 1 color. So I have to get rid of the drop shadow. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of the drop shadow there. I'm going to come over here to the distorted version, which is that red version that's going at that angle. And same thing here, I'm going to sacrifice some of my effects. I have to. I'm doing a simpler design. I have to simplify the effects. So here I will turn off my drop shadow. Yeah, I know it looked good with that drop shadow, but we got to let it go. Okay. And then as far as where the black is, I can decide to make it white and make the outline thicker, or I can decide to make it red and make the text look like it is a little bulkier. So, but I cannot have black there. That's one thing for sure. Now we can turn it off. And you see how simplified this 1 color is getting now. So we turn that off. Then we copy this layer style here, so I don't have to remember exactly what I did. And then I can paste the layer style on the second part of the design. Getting real simple, right? Then my reins and my football already looks white. And the easiest thing for me to do is actually design in black first and then reverse it with the white, because it can look a little odd. All right, so for the logo here, this is where I was talking about it can get a little funky here. So let's just do this. Wherever on this logo there is black, I'm going to show you better than I can tell you, and I'm going to select all the black here. And remember, it's not on contiguous, so it selected all the black. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, well, not a regular new layer. I'm going to do a new adjustment layer of a solid color. I'm going to choose the red. I'm going to let that be. Now, because I already made the inside of the face white, this actually worked out really well, so I don't have to invert. All right, and I guess I did that without even knowing. I did that pretty good. Now, if it was the opposite, for instance, the white was on the outside and the face was red, it would look like the unprocessed film, like back in the day when you would have to go get your film developed, that's what it would look like. And it looks terrible. And people print stuff like that all the time, and I hate it. I don't want y'all going out like that. So I'm going to turn off the drop shadow so you can see what this looks like. Print it just pure white. And y'all, this is a one color design. Okay. Now what I would do for this, I know it still has the red in it, but I'm going to show you a way. Well, basically, you can vector this. Most of your screen printers, as long as this is high resolution, there's going to be some issues, and I want y'all to understand that. For instance, they're going to have an issue with the spacing in between these two letters, more than likely. This little tiny little opening here. And those are things that I typically fix before I send to a screen printer. More than likely what they'll do is they will have the artwork and they will let you know if there's not enough negative space or if there's not enough positive space. Typically, and I didn't pull that resource up, but typically it needs to be no more or no less than 2 points of negative space. So that means if you have this little sliver right here, may or may not be 2 points. If it's not 2 points or greater, they will flag your artwork and tell you that you need to clean it up. Okay. I'm just letting y'all know because I didn't know this. Nobody taught me this. I started off screen printing first. But I started off doing sublimation, but before I ever did screen print transfers, I actually had a 6-head 6-station press, and I used to screen print myself. I used to make my own plastisol transfers because my customers was always coming back. Like after a family reunion or the day of a family reunion, like, hey, we need 20 more shirts. And I'm like, well, you burn the screen, you do a job one time, you're not trying to go back and do it again. So what I would do is I actually started learning to do my own plastisol transfers so that I can do those last minute orders. Then when I learned people offered plastisol transfers, I was like, I don't even need this screen printing equipment anymore. As far as for me, because it was a one-man band and your girl was burning screens, pressing sublimation shirts, doing artwork, answering the phones and the emails, and it just wasn't working. So now we have the option to do screen print transfers. I will tell you, there's no feeling like screen print actually on a garment. Okay, it feels better. It feels more embedded into the fibers, but most of your customers do not know the difference between a screen printed transfer and screen print onto an actual garment. Okay, just giving you that because some of you may feel like, oh, well, I don't want to. They don't understand the difference, especially when they're trying to get a $10 t-shirt. You know where to go. One color design. These prints are 40 cents. And we're going to get into the pricing of this in just a little bit. If you order 100 of them, these prints are 40 cents. One color. And what I do, even if they're only ordering 30 shirts, I still order the 100 prints. Why? Because I get them for 40 cents a piece if I order 100. I get them for $1 a piece if I order 30. So what I do is I order 100, do their little 30 shirt order if that's what they order. And then I come back to them a week or two later and say, hey, I'm running a special for all of my best customers. And if you do a minimum of 50 shirts, which I have at least 70 prints, right? Do a minimum of 50 shirts. I'll do them for $10 a piece. And because what happens is they already got the 30 shirts out there. Not everybody wants them. And I tell them I can have it to them in a week. Boom. Extra money on top of a $10 investment. All I did is pay $10 instead of $30 for my screen prints. I paid $40 for them. So I invested $10 to get those extra prints. And now I have a whole 300 to 400 plus order on top of what I had before. All right. Okay. So let me stop talking so I can show you how we're actually going to get this to be a one color design. Quick export as PNG. Boom, 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 boom. And this one will be a one color. Now I have to distinguish my one color black from my one color white because there is a difference. This is going to be my white. All right, so I can go back to this same little vector. This little program here. I can upload my image. Let me just do a little drag and drop. I think that'll be easier so I can see what I'm dragging and dropping. All right, and I'll go to view, large icons. And I see my red is still in there. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to start with my one color white design. Because that's more than likely what they want. They want an inexpensive t-shirt. So you're going to sell them this red t-shirt with this white print on it, and you're going to make it do what it do. Okay. Now it's telling me this is 2 colors. Why? Because it is 2 colors. It's got red in there. So just take that red and turn the check mark off, and it will make it knock out. Boom. Look at that right there. Now, if I tell it I want to download this as an SVG, I want you also to be aware, I didn't show you this before, but you can go to the output size. And I know that my design is 12 inches wide. I don't want it more than 12 inches wide. And then this one happens to be 6 inches tall. The other design, because it had that longer wave, was taller. It was almost 8 inches tall. So get this, for a 6-inch by 12-inch design, you're going to be able to easily gang sheet this if you needed to do bigger prints, or if you needed to do DTF. A 6 by 12, you can get multiple of those on a gang sheet. All right, but for screen printing, I'm going to do this single image because it's easier to press them, and I'm getting these prints for 40 cents, and it's not going to be worth it to try to gang sheet a 1-color print. I'm just telling you, it's not worth it. Just go ahead with that 1-color formula and get it popping. Let's go ahead and download this one. While I'm talking, I could have been hit download. All right, now this is my 1-color design, but this is my 1-color design SVG. That means it's vectored. Okay. Now go ahead and download that one. Let me go ahead and do my 2-color design here. And technically, this could be a 2-color. The white and the red could be a 2-color, or my white and black can be a 2-color. You decide whatever you're going to put this on. If they tell you they want red shirts and you do a white and black on the red, I'm going to show you what that looks like. And I'll show you what the white and red looks like on any color as well. All right, so here, white and black are my only colors here. So see how it has 2 colors? And it knows, see, it's detecting. I have a slightly like lighter black and then a true black. But it's detecting that these are similar, and they're grouping them for me. So if it said that I had 6 colors here and I wanted to break this down to 2 colors, basically it's using this threshold to tell me that, hey, I think all of this is black and all of this is white. You tell me if you want to separate these colors. And I don't, sir. Thank you so much for figuring out that I had a flaw and I had too many colors in my graphic, which if you sent this off to a screen printer, they're going to tell you got too many colors too. Just because you saw black in that logo does not mean it was the same black that you were using otherwise. Another thing that I'm noticing here, this white might be a little too thin. So just now that I'm formally evaluating this for myself, I might make that white a little bit thicker so that I don't run into that issue. I think it's still screen printable. I think it's fine. I'm just giving you that idea that you may have to deal with that. All right. And then as far as the size, I'm coming down here, go to my output size, 12 inches. Download. And now this is ready for me to send to the screen printer. Now I do inspect my design. So I will bring this into a vector program, even if you just bring it into Photoshop. And I would merge this little skinny little thing right here. I would just let that all be white, not to deal with that little hanging. There's a little skinny piece of black right here. I could possibly merge that with the white and clean that up. But for the most part, you're going to be good to go with this. And I think I had one more 1-color to do. That's what I was going to do. I'm going to do a 1-color with this one and just change it to black instead of white. And you'll probably see what I'm talking about when it looks like your mascot face is inverted. All right. So here, I'm going to knock out the red. Okay. And then instead of the white, remember I told you we can come here and do black, which is going to be 6 zeros. Pure white is all F's. You see how now it looks like the inverted image of his face? That's what I was talking about. So what I would do, I would go back into this graphic and I would actually invert this graphic. So for instance, in order to invert, let's see what's the easiest way to do this. Just to show you, because I don't want to do all the prep work. I just want to show you. So I'm going to bring this to the top. I'm going to take everything here and just recolor it black if it has a color. Let me just see if I could choose a blend mode that just turns all of my white black. Where's my divide? No, it's not going to do it. I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll bring my one color white SVG in here. Beautiful. Kind of drop it right in place. All right, so if I do my one color white and I want to show you what that looks like all black, create that clipping mask there, turn it on, turn this off for a second. So see what I was talking about? This image right here just looks inverted. It looks really weird. So I would work on taking this and put a version of it inside of here that I don't mess with. And I'm going to bring another version out here I mess with. Now, I did show y'all how to do this in the challenge. I went through in depth how to flip it, but there's several different ways you can do it. Here, what I'm going to do is go into my graphic. And remember all of these different ones that I made white, I would just do the inverse of it. So I'm going to group that, duplicate it. It's an eyeball thing, y'all. It's an experience and an eyeball thing. So I'm going to take this white and make it black. And then wherever the black was, I'm going to make it white. And then also just do a solid color over this and make it white. And then what you have to do is you have to determine what your outline is going to be here and what your inside media is, what your outside media is. So for instance, I've got black. I want to keep my black outline. Oh, I know what we could do here. Easy. This is super easy. I'm going to grab everything that has the white with the non-contiguous on and just make it red. I'm trying to make this harder than I have to. Solid color. Boom. Do red. Knock it out. And then this is where, indeed, I would need to make this outline here black instead of red. Boom, boom. Turn that off. Turn that on. And then this logo automatically has a white outline on it. So I'm going to grab that. And see what this looks like if I make it more black. Ew. So I would have to break this design down, y'all, because it's got too many little intricate parts and layers going on there. But just for the sake of this, I'm going to make this all the way black too. And then let's get rid of the black here. Turn my tolerance down to maybe like 5. Turn on contiguous. And I just want to get rid of the layer mask there. All right, so that's not exactly how I want it. I need this cleaned up a little bit. This black is a little bit different here. So let me just make it all the same, that little grayish black. And it's not perfect, but I can rock with this. Put a little stroke on that. A little inside stroke with my black color. And a little outside stroke. Inside stroke, outside stroke. And I only need that to be about 1 pixel, maybe 2 pixels. And then let me see what happens when I put this on top. It cleans that up. It ain't quite clean to me, but like I said, I can rock with it. Also, this color, this stroke color here, I need it to be that grayish black color so that it all flows, and then I can play with it a little bit more. Now, like I said, I do all of this in Illustrator because I can deal with clean vector lines, punch through stuff, all of that stuff. But I'm showing you in Photoshop so you don't feel like you have to learn a whole nother software just to do this. And now for this one, I'm going to make this logo a little bit bigger just so it covers up the previous one, y'all. All right. And then again, I'm going to grab all the white from the design here with my magic wand. Make sure that I have contiguous turned off. Select all that, turn on my red, and create a little layer mask there. And that helps me see what it looks like in this black. And then if I want to cheat here, let's see what it looks like with the full black, and boom. See how now it doesn't look like the negative is his face anymore? So depending on whether you're going to do a one color black or one color white design, you do have to manipulate any faces to make sure it doesn't look negative. Now what I can do with this one is I'm going to go ahead and pull all this down together. Turn that eyeball on. Oop, I lied. And then I can go ahead and call this. This is going to be the black one color. Fingers aren't on the right keys, y'all. And it's about time for me to go anyway. So yeah, it's 10 o'clock. It's past time. But I'm gonna finish this thing out. So I'm gonna quick export that one as PNG. Turn this over to a one color instead of white. I'm gonna put black. Gonna do the save dance there. And also I need to save this as my one color design so that I have, so if I've done the setup for all of this, if I ever need to go back and tweak part of my design, like I have a sublimation version, a DTF version, I have a 2/3 color version, and I have a one color version, all done. Okay. Now here, I would go back to that vector. See, remember how it looked before with a little inverted face there? So now let's bring over our one color black. And you can even see it's got my little red in there, and that's okay. It's okay. I'm going to tell it to remove the red. So I go to the red, turn off the check mark. It'll punch through. And boom. Now I have my black and white design. Okay, it's only two colors. Well, actually, no, it's only one color. It's one color. It's black. That's it. And before I hit download, I meant to change the size there. And see how it cleaned up my stuff a little bit? Like, it's not perfect, but it did clean up my little vector image a little bit there. And I might even like make the outlines a little thicker, but that's playing with that logo a little too much. So 12 by 6. download that. And I save this one as a one color and I put the word black behind it because I want to make sure that I know the difference between when I print my white screen print and my black screen print. It is not the same. Just doesn't, unless you're doing text only. If you're doing any imagery where people have a face, or if there's positive and negative space, for instance, a flower is not a face, but it has positive and negative space. It has the outline of the flower. It has the feel of the flower. If I do the inverse of that, it looks crazy. It's just anything that has positive and negative space looks crazy when you just reverse it and you don't expect it to have that effect. So what I'm going to do next, really quickly, I'm going to save this as my red version. And as I mock this up, I'm just going to talk a little bit about what it actually is. All right, so the least expensive thing to do, like I said, which is what most of your people want, they want that good old screen print, one color, so you can give it to them for about $10 a shirt if they're doing a bulk enough order. So I'm going to double click on that thumbnail, that smart object there. And this is also, I'm giving them this design, but look how small this image is. If they really think they finna go take and take my design and take it somewhere with this little behind, little pixelated graphic, just go ahead. Okay, because it's not going to be easy. So that's why I give it to them in this format. So I'll do the maroon shirt here and make sure that my blend mode is on normal. Turn off my other color. Control S, Control W, and it'll automatically mock that shirt up in that maroon color so they can see what it looks like. With black, they're probably going to choose the white. But that's the whole point of doing this whole service. They don't know. They're just going to tell you, oh, yeah, do a black print on maroon. Now, I like black on black, but it's not going to be the most visible. So if you're talking spirit wear, they probably want to have the most visible. So now I'm looking for the one color screen print white, and I'm dropping the straight up SVGs in here, y'all, so that I know this is ready to print when it's time to go. All right, so there, save and close that. All right, so my white is already looking good, okay? I forgot to change the shirt color, so let's do that. And with the white, I show them the black and the white on the same color so that they have an excellent understanding of what it is that they're asking me to do, okay? If they're asking me to put a black design on a forest green shirt, I just need them to see what that looks like. All right, so I'm done with my one color design. That's probably going to be the thing that they want most. Now let's come on to this two color design. And here's my two color screen print. Boom, it's just black and white. And notice how this design is smaller than the wavy design, right? It's a little bit smaller, but it still looks like it's in the right placement. It looks good. Let's go ahead and change the color of the shirt to the maroon. Control S, Control W. I use my shortcut on my keyboard. See how that black and white just makes it pop a little bit more? So yes, they may want that cheaper shirt, but they might say, I actually like the way that black and white looks. I'll pay $4 more per shirt. If not, they're looking for these inexpensive shirts, and you got to give them what it is that they need, okay? Now, the screen print 3 color, I do have it in, let's see, technically, yes, I do have the 3 color screen print. So what I'm going to do for that, the reason why I sell them a 3 color screen print, if I do a 3 color screen print, is because the 3 color screen print looks good on any color because it has the black, it has the white, and it has the primary color of the school on there. All right, so I get a chance to show them what that looks like on those various colors. Now, keep in mind, too, let's say, for instance, I'm doing a maroon shirt, but my print is more like a crimson. Now, because I don't have that knockout effect, see how with the knockout effect, the color inside of my text is the exact color of the shirt. If you are doing a color on color, that is also why I like to do thicker outlines, because I don't have to worry about that color touching a color that is off. Okay, so I do like to have a little buffer between that. But now you can show them that 3 color design, it works on white, it works on black, and it works on your team color. All right, so I'm just going to go ahead and drag this one over again. So even on the white, I told you it has that white on there, but it still looks pretty good. And you will see a little bit of the white on white, but it will not be that noticeable because the way that you designed it, you could see or not see that little bar, that little rectangle, and it still looks good. All right, so now we're going to update this one to the 3 color. All right, and if y'all want this updated version of Craft to Quit, I will put it as a bonus file. So now you have the red version and the blue version, as long as I marked all this up. All right, so we get the idea of these screen prints. We already did the price breakdown. I won't be able to do that in class tonight, but the price breakdown, giving you a summary, these were about 40 cents per transfer if you do 100 prints. So you end up for $40 getting about 100 prints. Give or take if you have to pay for shipping, because if you're not doing a big enough order, you will have to pay for shipping. Then the 2 color prints were around about $2 a print. The 3 color prints could be around about $3 per print, especially if you are using the 613 originals. They had a discounted price for just doing the 9x12s, which I thought was a great price. And then now we're getting into the full color. Okay, so full color, I'm going to start with the DTF because that's really popular right now. So full color DTF, guess what? Now I can put my graphic in there where I had all of the full color details inside of the text. I got those digital details in there, y'all. They're going to love that. But they may not love the price of DTF. Okay, so you just have options. I got my full color. I didn't have to invert my logo there and change the color of the face versus the hair. It just is what it is, and it prints full color. Same thing with sublimation. Okay, sublimation, I'm going to be able to pull this same little sublimation graphic in. This one has the drop shadows and stuff, right? So this one is even more advanced than my DTF one. Let's see what that looks like. All right, looks good. And then finally, I have an all over. I do like to show this one off. And then let me just show y'all something here, because we're going to work on this all over design as a part of our Automizer template. But I just want to show y'all something real quick. You can go up in here. Remember, I told you most things you can design with just the foreground and the background. Get that foreground, drop in that sublimation print, and pull it up here to the top. Do not let it get on the outside there. Now this is a PNG, so you do have to delete the previous one. All right, that's my foreground. And then for my background, I'm just going to real quick go find me one of these backgrounds that I already did. So maybe I'll use this background. And I'm just going to clip it into this new layer mask. Is giving me that little grunge property. And I may even just, I think I want to include a little bit of my checkerboard in there and just play with it like so. I think I want a little more checker in there. All right, now because it's a PNG, I can't have all these extra layers. So what do I have to do if it's a PNG? I have to merge my layers. If it's a JPEG, I have to flatten my layers. That's how it works when you have these PNGs and these JPEGs as your base layers. All right, and I did save this one as the red, so I have the blue one preserved, and now this one's going to be my red one. I'll see if I like this background, and if I don't like this background, I got some other ones. All right, and I'm going to go ahead and let that save, and then you'll get the chance to see it change from this. Oh, you know what I could have done? I didn't even think about it. I could have just made the background, because this goes with the Vikings too, the whole water deal. Let me see if I like this. Let me go ahead and save it, see if I like it. And if I want to go, no, I have the blue water, so I'll do something different because I like the water for that one too. This is where you get into doing too much, right? Looks like a totally different design now. Because you know, some schools, well, I don't want what they got. I want to be different. Yep, you sure can be different. When you pay this design fee, you can be as different as you want to be. Other than that, you're getting this template. And even when you pay a design fee, you still getting this template. All right, so just that quickly, I designed all of these different versions of what we could do for this fundraiser because my thing is I want to get bulk orders, y'all. I want to show them that, hey, whatever budget you have in mind, I can work with. Whatever creative capacity that you're willing to pay for, I can work with. Because I could do these all over shirts front and back for $45. I'm not going to do them for $45. I'm going to have them jokers sent off. But if I was just doing one, I may do that $60 shirt, get that one circulating out there in the population. So then I might have a $12 or $16 shirt out there floating around, but somebody going to be wearing this all over sublimation shirt. Give me some business. Somebody, it's going to be a player, a mom, the PTA advisors. Somebody's going to get this shirt gifted to them when I do a big shirt order, because I want them to feel like they got something different. They got something bigger, especially if they brought me a bigger order. Now we talking about a $300 order. They might get their one shirt free. That's usually how I do it. Whoever brings me the order gets a free shirt if they bringing me a bulk order. That way they keep bringing me orders just because they want to be stylish and have a free shirt. All right. And on top of that, y'all, I don't have to deal with collecting orders. They go out there, they advertise for me. I make one web page where they go and they order their products and they have a timeline to order by, right? So now it's time for us to pull all this together, okay? I'm just going to give you a little example here. We're pulling all this together. Now, this was the last campaign we did. If you're in my Craft to Quits Platinum group, my membership, you will know that as these weeks go on, we will develop, just like we developed this 318, y'all. Took us about 4 weeks, but we developed this 318. We went from a design, right? We took a design, simple design, then we made it into elements that we could use for this Automizer. So it became sleeve prints. It became grunge prints that you can use to achieve this all over-ish look, right? It became stickers for backpacks and pencil cases, left chest logos for polos, and all of these different things. The same graphics became, okay? It became event design, right? That's how I like to roll with y'all, because I want to show you how you can take some energy on one product, one t-shirt, and propagate those design elements across so many different products to get your customers' brains like really pumping and really excited. So we went a step past that. We said, okay, Shannon, you know how to mock these items up as like little standalone products, but what about, can we mock it up on a model? So we're going to do that again. We're going to take a model. We're going to mock up one of our products that's going to be for the sports season onto the model. And then we're going to mock the design up onto the model. So get this, we had to put this blank image on this model. This model didn't exist wearing this jacket. If y'all remember how this worked, I gave that model a blank jacket, put it on her, did a face swap. She was animated. Then after we designed her outfit, then we animated her into a video. Then we created a motion graphics banner. So if y'all are ready to do this again, this is where we're going to set the standard in our academy to make sure every single time we do a project, it's not just for fun. It is fun. You're learning stuff. You're applying things, but you're literally building a project that I can take this video right now. And some of you all took this video class with me, right? And y'all have these banners right now that you can put on your website. You can change the font to them. You can change the animation and how these pop up. I gave you all of my source files, including my videos. So y'all have that embedded in there. Look, this is another one. Everything that is on this page, I have taught you to do. Everything that's on this page, I have taught you to do, including designing these large format graphics, motion banners, AI videos, face swapping, so that your models, all of these models had to be face swapped, because when that AI animates and does certain things, that you you lose the fidelity of your graphics. So you lose that person's face. So we have to do certain things in order to maintain that and make it look like it's believable as a product that we sell. All right. I don't want y'all just creating random AI. I want to make sure that your AI makes sense for your brand, that is helping you sell. Okay. So some of you did that. And then what I'll do is I'll show you where all of this stuff is, because I'm about to log off, but I said I was going to do a little something for y'all. This is what I will do for my freebie files. What I'll do for my freebie files is I will give you the PNGs of these graphics here, so that you can say that you offer this. Okay. I can take the prices off of them. Well, you know what? I'll just do each of the PNGs so that you have those. You can put them together. I'll take the price off of this so you can add your own price onto it. And then that way you have a graphic that you can start getting interest. If you join the challenge, and you get all the editable files, you get all the editable design and mockup templates, as well as the price list, the vendor list, and all of that stuff too. All right, so let me show you all how you can get to it. All right, so right now, if you're signed up for the free view class, there are some free assets that I'm gonna give you. So you see this $0 one, you're gonna get some PNGs that you can use to market right now. It will not be editable files. If you want the editable files, including the AI class that we did on Tuesday, on Monday, what we did was we did a whole planning session where we used AI, we used ChatGPT to define our avatar, to tell us what his or her name was, what the target market is, where they shop, what products that particular avatar. We actually did 3 different avatars. We did players, so for team gear, and then we did seniors, and then we also did the head of the PTA and moms, right? That's a whole nother demographic, and those different avatars require or want different type of products. So we broke all of that down. Right. And then further, we went into vendors and where we get these screen prints, where we get these t-shirts, how we price this stuff, a whole Excel sheet breaking all this stuff down. I'm not going to do all that on YouTube because I'm already over time, but we did all of that over the course of the last 4 days. And we designed together that Photoshop file. So you'll have that Photoshop file plus the additional versions of the TIFF that I did, so that you see it as a 1 color, 2 color, 3 color, full color DTF, and full color sublimation. All right. And then you have a choice. Don't buy the challenge yet, because you can buy the challenge for $97 because it's the replay. It's $297 if you want it to be in it live, and it's $97 if you want the replay. Now, if you go ahead and purchase this as a replay, it's $97. If you join Craft to Quit, it's $97. Okay, see right here, it's $97. If you join Craft to Quit, it's $97, and I will give you the last challenge included in your $97 membership. Why? Because our membership is $197 for Craft to Quit. It's open right now for $97. I want to see you grow rather than just sell you a product where you can watch the replay. I want you in my hands-on classes every single week. I do a hands-on AI class every Tuesday. I do a hands-on Photoshop class every Wednesday. And then Tuesday after our AI class, we do our Craft to Quit strategy session, where I'm either helping you with your vending solutions, I'm helping you with advanced Photoshop or screen printing skills, or whatever it is that we need to further develop. You're getting 3 sessions with me every single week live, 3 hours with me every single week live. And you get the replay of the last challenge, and you will get the new challenge that's going to be at the end of that 30 days. So at that 30 days, if you decide that $97 wasn't worth it, please tell me and I will refund you. It's a 30-day guarantee. You will lose absolutely nothing. Just come join me live for $97 for 30 days. And I guarantee you, your skill set will improve. Your confidence will improve. And once your confidence improves, then your currency will increase as well. The amount of money that you can make when you have the confidence to go out there and show somebody, oh, yeah, I can do this. Yeah, I can do that. Of course I can. This is an easy $300 job right here. Oh, $360 job. 30 shirts, $12 a piece. Just because you have this one template, you're going to be able to knock that out. Okay? Just letting you know. So if anybody wants that link, go ahead and comment. Oh, yeah. Thank you for letting me know customer happiness too. We got these other classes coming up. Let's go over that too real quick, y'all. So join Craft to Quit. If you just comment the word template, and on the latest Facebook post, or what I'll do is I'll paste this into, oh, customer happiness, I already did it. Paste that into the chat. So you have this page. This page pretty much shows you everything that we are doing right now. So this is the hands-on real time. Y'all, this Saturday, we are doing a Canva class. If you're still with Canva and you're still afraid of Photoshop, don't worry, we'll transition you. But we have a class where we show you how to design a template from scratch inside of Canva that you can use over and over and over and over again. Okay, that class is Saturday, which is tomorrow at 12. And I already reduced the class to $20. It's supposed to be a $97 class because it's a 90-minute class. It's an hour and a half long class. And the difference between our classes and other people's classes is that you share your screen. We draw on your screen and we help you on your screen in the Zoom room. You don't just watch us design for 90 minutes. Okay. Otherwise, we could just give you a replay. Our live classes are just different. Okay. So I want to make sure that you all are tapped into this. Even my Photoshop OGs, tap into this class because you need to know the basics of Canva before I could teach you the motion graphics in Canva. Okay. So those of you who want to do the motion graphics class with me on 8/31, that's going to be a Canva motion graphics class. That in and of itself, you need to know the basics of Canva. And it will be so much smoother if you just took this $20 class now. You'll be so much more ready for this Canva motion graphics class. I also have an AI animation class coming up where we're going to take our models that we mocked up and we're going to put them to work inside of animating these graphics, okay? So animating these graphics is how I was able to achieve these banners. So this is animating photos, animating my mockups, right? That's video animation. That's AI video animation. Then the Canva marketing animation, motion graphics. I like to call those motion graphics because it's not as much. It is animation, but it's more easier to say motion graphics. Okay. So these classes combined, this is me teaching you how to make AI videos. This is me teaching you how to do Canva motion graphics. Does that make sense? See how all of this builds on one another? I got all of these classes on sale for y'all right now. I promise you, this is the last time you're going to see these classes on sale. The price goes up on them this weekend. I'm going to give y'all until tomorrow because I know it's late, but that's it. On Sunday, this is going back to $197. This is going back to $197. And it's every bit worth $197 because you're in a live class with me for about 3 hours and I'm hands-on helping you with the project. Okay. It is definitely worth $197. And then usually after I'm done with the live class, I'll take it down to $97 for the replay. If you don't need the hands-on help and you just want to watch the replay, hang tight and I'll take it down to $97 for the replay. But I'm telling you, the power is in the proximity, being in the room, getting the live help when you get stuck, us pulling you out the mud. That is where the power of our academy really lies. We've gotten a lot of people a very long way in whatever it is that they want to do, whether it's graphics, whether it is AI, whether it's Photoshop, even designing large scale, big backdrops and things of that nature versus t-shirts and little pins, whatever you want to do. The hands-on approach is absolutely our best way of ensuring your success. All right. And we don't take it for granted. For those of you who are looking for the Automizer, the latest Automizer 323, we're doing a live Automizer for this new design, and that will be $817. That will go up. Right now it is on sale. I promise you that will go up to I believe that one goes up to $397 after this Saturday. All right, so I'm just letting y'all know y'all got some live classes. Here's some replays you might be interested in. The replay for the challenge is $97. Go ahead and buy it. If you don't want to join for $97 to have the challenge plus the next challenge plus 30 days worth of live classes with me for the same $97, then just go ahead and buy that replay, okay? It's just for you. There's no commitment there. There's no monthly fee. You don't have to worry about any kind of live classes with me. But I'm telling you, if you're considering buying this challenge for $97, the replay of it, then go ahead and buy the membership, the Craft to Quit membership for $97 this month. I also have a deal for some of you who want to join the annual. Instead of $97, I put the $797 deal up there where it will unlock all 200 Photoshop classes, all 85 AI classes, plus it will give you a year's membership, and you will lock in that year's membership for the Craft to Quit program for only $797. So if you want to do that, that option is available too. You just have to basically click where it says join now, and you'll see the $797 deal. All right. So anything else y'all have any questions about real quick? Yes, Jennifer, our motto is no creative left behind. Absolutely. And Michelle, if you want to comment the word template, you have to comment it on the the latest Facebook post. And I'll go ahead and show y'all where our Facebook is. And post that in the chat there. So come on, check out our Facebook, y'all. Go ahead and like the page. You can comment under the post here. You can actually comment under the video, or you can comment under the latest actual post here. If you comment the word template, it'll send you the link. Okay. Hey there, Shaka. Now, anybody have any questions? For the free files tonight, comment the word Friday. Okay, Trish, that's a great question. What is the difference between the Canva motion and so the Canva motion and the AI animation? Is that what you're asking about? No, Janine, the templates are not on sale anymore. We had them 75% off. Well, I actually left that thing on for a long time and I forgot. So template prices are back. Regular price, $40 hollers. All right, and Janine, you may be interested in doing the locking in the Craft to Quit for $797 and having all of your classes unlocked, and also having access to the Craft to Quit program so that you can get your weekly template fix and live classes and the challenges and all the stuff that comes with the challenges. And also, I don't know if you all know about the Automizer, but the Automizer is a product that designs right now 135 products with one. You just change out one t-shirt or banner design or whichever product, and it designs the water bottles, gift boxes, mugs, menus, all of that stuff that you see here kind of flipping around, treats. And we're even adding to that so that the party favors are going to be even bigger. Our next challenge is going to be a party favor challenge. And we will be introducing you to that improved Automizer too. Oh, I know what you're asking. So this motion graphics 831, we're going to be working on this new campaign, which is a sports campaign. The one that we already did, like this one is a replay, it's done, ready to go, but this one already happened, so it's a replay. The 727 one, you get all the things that are shown in there. You actually get those assets ready to go. If you join the 831, we haven't done that class yet, so you will basically get the new graphics once we design those. As we go through these next few weeks inside of our Craft to Quit program, we will be developing the assets, and you all will see all of that built up. And speaking of how this built up, check this out. I want y'all to see how we work inside of the academy. So you may not understand why I do what I do, but I promise there's a rhyme and a reason, right? So for instance, when we start designing, we may start with one template, but after we are working in that template, I'll say, okay, well, this is how this relates to a bar menu and your dinner menu. And then we'll have a template that works on that. Or now we're going to build on that. We take that 318 design, and now we're going to turn that into a mock-up that you made. And then I'm going to give y'all my version of the mock-up and show you how we mock up an actual model and not just a flat product. That's totally different. We did some warping. We had some smart objects in there, totally different process. And then I show you, hey, once we mock this model up, let's also create some patterns. Why do we want some patterns? Because maybe you want to do a skirt print or some socks or that sort of thing. So we made a custom pattern here. And then from there, we pulled it all together and we made a custom backdrop. Y'all see how all of that stuff worked together for that one campaign, which was back to school and the whole racing theme, right? And it didn't have to be back to school. It could have been a racing birthday thing, right? Then, well, not then, but at the same time, we're working on the AI models and the AI projects that go along with it. So yes, I showed you how to create those images in Midjourney and ChatGPT. I showed you how to create your own models that tell a story. So you don't have flat mock-up images that everybody else has. You have some real models that look really cool, setting off your social media, your website. Then I'll show you how to mock up those models. Because what's the point of having models if you can't get them to wear your stuff and actually create the graphics on them? Then I showed you how to animate that model. So do you see how these projects build on one another? And it's helping you create a campaign every single month. My goal is to help you grow a campaign, not just to teach you little silly gimmicks here and there. I want you to have a strong foundation in building a business and presenting your business. Okay. All right. So, like I said, and the boot camps are more. These boot camps here are 3-hour-long classes. Our weekly classes are just 1-hour classes. What I do when we do boot camps, because it's not just me as a coach who does a boot camp, we're sitting with you and we're finding a process to help you really lock in that particular skill. So you have this Canva class that is absolutely phenomenal for learning the basics of Canva as far as inputting text, fading off images, cutting out backgrounds, using those what they like to call, we call them layer masks in Photoshop. They call them frames in Canva. So you're utilizing those frames. You're utilizing drop shadows and strokes, and even those little bling. We do them as brushes in Photoshop, but we show you how to bring those little blings in, even in Canva. Right, and then we have the live classes coming up for animation, motion graphics. We have a Photoshop live class coming up where you do the same process that we did in Canva, but you build a template from scratch in Photoshop. You will never forget this class. This will forever be a helpful class to you because it helps you set up your workspace, understand the principles of those tools in Photoshop, takes all that fear out of your heart when it comes to Photoshop. So it will make it so much easier for you to watch the videos or to come to the live Wednesday classes. Okay. All right. So that is my time for tonight. I thought I was going to be able to do this 1 hour. Now, for those of you who want the free files for tonight, make sure that you comment the word Friday under this Facebook post right here. Comment the word Friday, and it will send you the link to the class where it will have the PNG files that you will get for free tonight. That's anybody can get those for free tonight. All right, let me see if I have any questions here. I think that is it. My loves, I am excited for you all. I want to see you all excel. I will put these products, like I said, I'll give PNGs for the freebie side. And then for those of you all who are in Craft to Quit, if you're in the Platinum program, and you will have access to, even if you join today as the Craft to Quit Platinum program, you will have access to all the editable files from the challenge and the full challenge that we just completed yesterday. All right. So that's it, my love. So I appreciate you and I love you dearly. I don't know if I'm going to keep doing this thing live, but we'll see what it do. If not, maybe I'll do a little recorded content for you. Not sure. I am figuring my life out just like y'all. But if you truly appreciate this, if you appreciate the content, if you appreciate the message, the time, and the energy that goes into this, please just at the minimum, do a little like, do a little subscribe, do a little sharing, and sharing is caring, because it lets me know that you all appreciate this content, and I'll be back. All right. So that's it. That's all, folks. I appreciate you and I love you dearly. And until next time, bye. Good night, y'all.